The final Lumerian evacuation ship cleared the dying star's system with just 37 minutes to spare. Behind them, their homeworld was already becoming uninhabitable, the beautiful blue planet now scorched by increasing radiation. All ships accounted for, Captain Lisa Wright announced from the command center of the Federation vessel, where she had set up a temporary headquarters. Total evacuation successful. A cheer went up from both humans and aliens alike. Many Lumerians pulsed with bright light, their way of showing joy and relief. Ambassador Zilith approached the exhausted human team. "You saved my entire species. There are no words in any language to express our gratitude." Commander John Perry smiled tiredly. "We just did what needed to be done." As they watched through the viewports, the Lumerian star suddenly flared blindingly bright before beginning to collapse in on itself. The shockwave would reach their position in hours, but by then all ships would be safely away. "Where will your people go now?" Dr. Susan Garcia asked Zilith. "The Federation Council has reversed its previous decision," Ambassador Kroll answered, joining their conversation. "All Lumerians will be given temporary settlement rights on various Federation worlds until a suitable new home can be found." No one mentioned the obvious fact that this generosity came only after humans had done the impossible and shamed the Federation into action. Dr. Eric Winters looked up from his instruments. "The star's going supernova. We should move back to a safer distance." As the fleet of ships prepared to depart, Krael approached Lisa with an official-looking document displayed on a thin, transparent tablet. "This is a formal invitation for Earth to join the Galactic Federation," he explained, "with some special considerations." "What kind of considerations?" Lisa asked. "Your species will be classified as a protected Death World species," Krael said, a hint of both respect and fear in his voice. "It means you will have full diplomatic rights, but also certain restrictions on military deployments outside your system." John raised an eyebrow. "You're afraid of us." "Not afraid," Krael corrected, though his body language suggested otherwise. "But we recognize that evolution on your world has created capabilities that most species lack. Your physical resilience alone gives you advantages in many environments." 1 month later, the U.S. Horizon approached Earth again, accompanied by a Federation diplomatic vessel. The human crew had recovered from their injuries, though Kevin and Olivia would always bear the scars of their radiation exposure. News of their return spread quickly across the planet. Humanity had gone from being unaware of alien life to becoming heroes in the galactic community in just a few short months. At the United Nations, Ambassador Zilith addressed the gathered world leaders, with Captain Wright and Commander Perry standing proudly beside her. "You were classified as a death world because your planet was considered too harsh for advanced life," Zilith told the assembled humans. "Yet it is precisely these conditions that created your remarkable species. Where others see danger, you see challenge. Where others retreat, you advance. Where others calculate risk, you offer help." She paused, her light glowing brightly. "In our darkest hour, we asked the universe for help. We never expected it would come from those born in darkness, carrying their own light." As Zilith spoke, across the galaxy, stories spread about the humans from Earth. Some told tales of their incredible strength, others of their strange resistance to radiation and poison. But most spoke of something more surprising: their willingness to risk everything for strangers. A new saying began to spread among Federation species: beware of humans, not for their strength or their technology, but for their dangerous habit of helping those in need, no matter the cost. Earth was officially labeled a death world in galactic records, but now, for the first time, that classification was viewed not with fear or dismissal, but with respect. Humans had arrived on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. The human diplomatic vessel Constellation glided smoothly through space. Its outer hull showed signs of long journeys, small dents from micrometeorite impacts and slight discoloration from solar radiation. To any observer, it looked like a reliable but unremarkable ship. Captain Laura Phillips stood on the bridge, her blue uniform neat but not flashy. She watched the stars through the main viewport while her crew worked quietly at their stations. "Captain, we're approaching the neutral zone near Xeralian space," said Olivia Wright from the tactical station. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel as she monitored the ship's defensive systems. Laura nodded. "Any sign of Xeralian vessels?" "Not yet, but our long-range scanners show increased activity in their patrol routes." Daniel Carter, the science officer, looked up from his station. He adjusted his glasses and frowned at the data on his screen. "Captain, I've been studying the reports about the Xeralians," he said. "In the past 10 years, they've destroyed fleets from 23 different species." "Any survivors?" Laura asked. Daniel shook his head. "Almost none. They follow the same pattern every time. Their admiral mocks the other ships, then attacks without mercy." Sam Rivera, the communications officer, turned in his chair. "It's psychological warfare. They break their enemy's spirit before the battle even begins." Laura walked to the center of the bridge, which is exactly why Rear Admiral Greg Martinez sent us instead of a more advanced ship. She ran her hand along a nearby console. "The constellation looks ordinary, non-threatening." What no one outside of human space knew was that the constellation's appearance was deceiving. Humans had learned long ago that looking weak could be an advantage. The ship contained technology far more advanced than its exterior suggested. "Captain," called Olivia suddenly. "Xeralian cruiser approaching fast. Looks like they're on an intercept course." Laura straightened her uniform jacket. "All crew to alert status. Remember your training. Let them see only what we want them to see." The bridge crew nodded. They had prepared for this meeting for months. "They're hailing us," Sam reported. On screen, Laura ordered, her face calm. The main display lit up to show a striking alien figure. Admiral Zerevek's had purple skin that shimmered in the light of her ship. 6 eyes studied the humans with open curiosity and disdain. When she smiled, her sharp teeth gleamed. "So you are the new species entering our galaxy," Zerevek began, her voice smooth but with an edge of mockery. "I must say, your vessel looks like it would struggle to navigate a simple asteroid field. Did you assemble it from spare parts?" Several of the alien crew members visible behind her laughed. Laura kept her expression neutral. "Admiral Zerevek, I presume. We've heard about your impressive fleet. We're just a simple research and diplomatic vessel, hoping to establish peaceful relations." The Admiral's eyes narrowed slightly. Humans didn't react with fear like other species. This was new. "Your diplomatic vessel has entered Xeralian territory," Zerevek said coldly. "Consider this your only warning. The next human ship I see will be destroyed as an example." Laura nodded respectfully. "We apologize for any territorial misunderstanding, Admiral. We'll adjust our course immediately." After the transmission ended, the bridge remained quiet for a moment. "She seemed disappointed," Sam finally said. Laura smiled slightly. "She expected us to beg or show fear. That's how she measures her power." "Will she attack us anyway?" Olivia asked, her hand hovering over the tactical controls. "No," Laura replied. "Not today. She's curious now. She wants to figure us out first." Daniel looked up from his readings. "Captain, I detected extensive scanning during our conversation. They were trying to analyze our ship. What did they find?" "Only what we wanted them to see. Our outer hull, basic power systems, minimal weapons." Laura nodded with satisfaction. "Perfect. Send a message to Central Command. First contact with the Xeralian Empire established. Admiral Zerevek is exactly as intelligence described her." As the constellation changed course, Laura looked out at the stars again. Phase 1 of humanity's plan was complete. The Xeralians thought humans were unremarkable newcomers to galactic politics. They would learn differently soon enough. Admiral Zerevek paced on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. 2 days had passed since the encounter with the human ship, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. Something about the humans bothered her. "Play the recording again," she ordered. The screen lit up, showing the human captain, Laura Phillips, and her bridge crew. Zaravex studied their faces as she watched herself mock their ship. "Stop there," she said, pointing at Captain Phillips' expression. "Look at her. No fear, no anger. Why?" Officer Drex stood beside her. "Perhaps humans don't understand insults, Admiral." "No," Zaravex said. "They understood, but they didn't react like other species." She tapped her fingers against her arm. "I want more information about these humans. Where did they come from?" "A planet called Earth," Drex replied. "They've only had space travel for a few hundred years. Before that, they spent most of their history fighting each other." Zaravex found this interesting. Fighting each other, not facing external threats. "Correct, Admiral. They had no united government until quite recently. Their history is filled with wars between their own groups. A species that evolved through internal conflict. This was unusual. The Xeralians had unified early in their development, focusing their aggression outward toward other species." "Admiral," called the sensor officer, "we're detecting another human vessel entering the neutral zone." Zaravex smiled. "Excellent. Set an intercept course." The new human ship was different from the first, larger, but still showing the same crude design elements. Its hull had visible seams and what appeared to be inefficient propulsion systems. Zaravex almost felt disappointed. "Open a channel," she ordered. A human male appeared on screen. "This is Captain Jack Nelson of the Earth vessel Defiance. We are on a scientific mission to study the nearby nebula." Zaravex noted that this human, like Captain Phillips, wore a simple uniform, no elaborate decorations or rank insignia like Xeralian officers. "Captain Nelson," she said smoothly, "another poorly designed human vessel in my territory. Your ships remind me of the primitive toys my children played with centuries ago." Nelson's face remained calm. "We meant no territorial offense, Admiral. Our charts show this as neutral space." "Your charts are as inadequate as your ship," Zaravex replied. She gestured toward the view screen. "Look at those exposed heat exchangers. One well-placed shot would cause your entire cooling system to fail." The human merely nodded. "Thank you for the engineering assessment, Admiral. We'll take your observations under advisement." This response confused Zaravex. Was he being sarcastic or genuinely thankful? She couldn't tell, and that irritated her. "Your ship's power output is barely above minimum requirements for deep space travel," she continued. "How do you expect to study a nebula with such limited sensors?" Captain Nelson smiled slightly. "We make do with what we have, Admiral. Humans are good at working with limitations." Again, no fear, no pleading, just calm acceptance of her mockery. "Captain Nelson," she said, leaning forward, "consider yourself fortunate that I'm feeling generous today. Leave this area immediately, or I will demonstrate how truly inadequate your vessel is against Xeralian weapons." "Understood, Admiral. We'll change course." Nelson paused. "But I should mention, humans are also very good at learning from our mistakes. Each ship we build improves on the last." The screen went dark as the humans cut the transmission first, a small but deliberate show of control that further annoyed Zaravex. "They're changing course, Admiral," reported the tactical officer. "Moving away from our space." Zaravex watched the human ship turn. Its engines flared with what seemed like struggling effort. Everything about it screamed inefficiency and primitive design. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Two human captains had now faced her mockery without showing fear. They spoke with a confidence that didn't match their weak ships. "Follow them," she ordered suddenly. "But keep our distance. I want to see what they do when they think we're not watching." As the Eternal Dominion shadowed the human vessel from a distance, Zaravex continued to study everything about these strange newcomers. They were hiding something. She was sure of it, and she would discover what it was. 2 months passed since Admiral Zaravex's encounter with the human ships. During this time, Reports of human activity increased throughout the sector. They were establishing trade routes, making contact with various species, and generally behaving like peaceful explorers. Zaravex found this boring. She had hoped the humans would provide some entertainment, but they seemed content to play the role of harmless newcomers. She sat in her private chamber aboard the Eternal Dominion, reviewing reports, when an urgent message came through. "Admiral," Officer Drex's voice sounded tense. "We're receiving distress signals from a Clarksian colony on the edge of our territory." Zaravex frowned. "Clarksians, why should we care about their problems?" "The signal mentions human involvement, and there are reports of pirate attacks." This caught her interest. Pirates attacking Clarksians with humans involved. "Prepare my battle group. I want to see this for myself." Within an hour, 5 Cerealian warships jumped into the space near the Clarksian colony. The scene that greeted them was unexpected. A large pirate fleet, raiders known for attacking vulnerable colonies, was engaging a single human vessel. But instead of fleeing, the human ship was positioning itself between the pirates and the Clarksian settlement. "Magnify that ship," Zaravex ordered. The main screen showed a human vessel similar to the one she had mocked before. It had the same seemingly inefficient design, visible hull seams, and underwhelming appearance. Yet it was holding its own against 12 pirate ships. "What are they doing?" she asked, genuinely confused. "It appears they're protecting the Clarksians." "Admiral," her tactical officer replied. "Protecting them? Why? The Clarksians have nothing of value to offer humans." As they watched, the human ship took a hit that should have crippled it. Instead, it continued fighting, its weapons surprisingly effective against the pirate vessels. "Open a channel to that human ship," Zaravex ordered. The screen showed Captain Jack Nelson again, the same human she had mocked before. His bridge was filled with smoke, and crew members rushed around dealing with damage. "Admiral Zaravex," Nelson said, looking surprised. "We didn't expect Cerealian involvement here." "What are you doing, Captain?" she demanded. "Why risk your ship for these worthless Clarksians?" Nelson's expression hardened slightly. "They asked for help. They have families down there. Children. So, they are not your species, not your concern." "That's not how humans operate, Admiral." Another explosion rocked his ship. "If you'll excuse me, we're a bit busy at the moment." Zaravex felt irritated by his dismissal. "Target the human vessel," she ordered her weapons officer. "Admiral," Drex questioned, looking confused. "I want to see what happens when their ship is truly tested. Lock weapons." As her ships turned toward the human vessel, something unexpected happened. The Defiance began to change. Panels on its hull shifted, revealing weapon systems that hadn't been visible before. Its engines glowed brighter, and its power signature suddenly tripled. "What's happening?" Zaravex demanded. "The human ship is transforming, Admiral," the sensor officer reported with disbelief. "Its configuration is completely different now." Before she could respond, the human ship unleashed a barrage of weapons fire at the pirate vessels. The accuracy and power were nothing like the primitive technology Zaravex had expected. Within minutes, all 12 pirate ships were disabled, not destroyed, but unable to fight or flee. "Impossible," she whispered. She opened a channel again. "Impressive deception, Captain Nelson. You've been hiding your true capabilities." Nelson nodded. "We prefer to avoid showing our full strength unless necessary, Admiral." "Your single vessel cannot hope to match my battle group," she said, recovering her composure. "We're not here to fight you," Nelson replied calmly. "We're here to help these colonists. But if you force the issue..." He let his words hang in the air. "You've revealed your secret now," Zaravex said with a smile. "I know what human ships can do." Nelson's expression remained steady. "No, Admiral. You've seen what one of our diplomatic escorts can do when necessary. You haven't seen our warships yet." For the first time in centuries, Admiral Zaravex felt a chill run down her spine. The great hall of the Xeralian High Council echoed with angry voices. 6 council members sat on raised platforms, looking down at Admiral Zeravex. She stood tall, but inside she felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. "You let them go," Councillor Vrax demanded. His old face showed deep lines of disappointment. The mighty Admiral Zeravex allowed a single human vessel to challenge her and then retreat unharmed. "It was not a challenge," Zeravex replied carefully. "It was a warning. Their technology is unusual. We need more information before engaging them directly." Another counselor laughed harshly. "For 200 years, you have crushed every species you encountered. Now suddenly you speak of caution." Zeravex's 6 eyes narrowed. She had never failed the Empire before. She had never shown weakness. But the humans were different from any species she had encountered. "The human ship changed its configuration during battle," she explained. "It revealed weapons and defenses that our scans had not detected, and the captain claimed it was merely a diplomatic vessel, not a true warship." The council members looked at each other. One of them, Councillor Mira, leaned forward with interest. "Is this possible? Technology that can hide from our scans?" "I saw it with my own eyes," Zaravex replied. "One moment, it was an unremarkable vessel. The next, it disabled 12 pirate ships with precision I have rarely witnessed." Vrax slammed his fist down. "This is unacceptable. If humans possess such technology, they are a threat to the Empire. We must strike now, before they grow stronger." Zeravex felt her pride stirring. Had she become afraid? Was she allowing one unusual encounter to change centuries of successful strategy? "You are right, Counselor," she said, standing straighter. "I will personally lead a fleet to their colony on Proxima Centauri. We will see how their technology fares against a full battle group." As she left the council chamber, Zeravex tried to ignore the small voice of warning in her mind. She had never feared battle before. Why start now? Back on her flagship, she ordered her intelligence officers to gather all available information on humans. The reports they brought were disturbing. "Humans form alliances with weaker species," one officer explained, showing data on recent human diplomatic missions. "They share technology and resources with no apparent benefit to themselves." "Inefficient and foolish," Zaravex commented. Another officer stepped forward. "Most concerning are these historical records from species who encountered humans before they achieved space travel. They spent thousands of years fighting among themselves." Zeravex frowned. "Many species have civil wars." "Not like this, Admiral. Humans fought constantly, developing new weapons and tactics with each generation, while we Xeralians unified as a species before developing advanced technology. Humans brought their combat evolution directly into the stars." Officer Drex, who had served with Zaravex for decades, looked troubled. "Admiral, there's one more thing. Analysis of the human ship's tactics during the pirate engagement shows patterns unlike anything in our database. They could have destroyed all enemy vessels, but chose to disable them instead." "Weakness," Zaravex said dismissively. "Or confidence," Drex replied quietly. "They didn't need to destroy their enemies to win." Zaravex stared out at the stars through the viewport. In 600 years of life, she had never questioned her superiority in battle. Her mockery of other species' ships had always been justified by their inferior design and performance. But Nelson's words kept returning to her mind. "You haven't seen our warships yet." She pushed these thoughts aside. One battle group would be enough to test the humans properly. 15 of the Empire's finest warships against whatever defenses this small human colony could muster. "Set course for Proxima Centauri," she ordered. "It's time to show these humans the true power of the Xeralian Empire." As the fleet jumped into faster-than-light travel, Zeravex prepared her most cutting insults for whatever primitive defenses the humans would deploy. No matter what tricks they had, they could not stand against her full battle group. At least, that's what she told herself. Admiral Zeravex's battle group dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Proxima Centauri. 15 Cerealian warships formed a perfect attack formation. Zara Vex stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, ready to bring glory to the Empire once again. "Scan the planet," she ordered. "Show me what defenses the humans have prepared." Her crew worked quickly, checking sensors and analyzing data. "Admiral," the sensor officer reported with confusion in his voice, "we detect only one ship in orbit." "One ship?" Zara Vex laughed. "They defend their colony with a single vessel. These humans are more foolish than I thought." "Bringing it on screen now," said Officer Drex. The main display activated, and the bridge fell silent. The human ship was unlike anything they had seen before. Where Cerealian ships were sleek and curved, this vessel was angular, with strange geometric patterns covering its hull. It was massive, nearly twice the size of the Eternal Dominion, and seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Most disturbing of all, it hung in space without moving, without any visible engines firing, completely silent on all communication bands. "What is that design?" Zara Vex asked, unable to hide her surprise. "Intelligence identifies it as the Redemption," her officer reported. "A Titan-class defense vessel." Zara Vex studied the strange ship. Its design made no sense to her. It looked both primitive and advanced at the same time, with sections that seemed to follow no logical engineering purpose. "One ship to defend a colony," she said, forcing confidence into her voice. "They must be desperate. Open a channel. Let's mock this captain before we destroy their precious Redemption." The screen changed, but instead of showing the ship's bridge, it displayed what looked like a simple room with one human sitting at a desk. The human female wore a plain navy blue uniform with minimal decoration. Her gray hair was cut short, and her face showed the lines of age, unusual for a species with such short lifespans. "Admiral Zara Vex," the human said before Zara Vex could speak. "We've been expecting you. I'm Captain Eleanor Hayes." Taken aback, but recovering quickly, Zara Vex replied, "Your single vessel cannot hope to stand against my battle group. That bizarre design looks like it was conceived by children playing with building blocks." Captain Hayes didn't smile or frown. She simply nodded. "We've studied your previous encounters. You mock, then attack. It's an efficient approach for conventional warfare." "And what would you know of warfare, human?" Zara Vex sneered. "Everything," Hayes replied quietly. "We know everything about warfare because we've been practicing it on ourselves for thousands of years. The Redemption isn't designed to look impressive, Admiral. It's designed to end conflicts." As if on cue, the strange human ship began to change. Sections of its hull split open, revealing dozens of launch bays. Small vessels began pouring out, hundreds of craft that sensors hadn't detected within the ship. On Zara Vex's tactical display, alarm signals flashed as more human vessels appeared from behind Proxima Centauri's moons, from the shadow of the planet, and from what seemed like empty space. "Impossible," whispered Officer Drex. "Our scanners show over 300 human vessels now." They were hiding, Zara Vex realized, waiting for us. "Last warning, Admiral," Hayes said calmly. "Return to your space, and we can establish diplomatic relations another day." For the first time in her career, Zara Vex felt something strange in her chest. It took her a moment to recognize it. Fear. She looked at the human captain's calm face, then at the bizarre warship hanging motionless before her fleet, then at the swarm of smaller vessels now surrounding her battle group. She had two choices: retreat and lose face, or attack and potentially lose much more. Pride won over fear. Admiral Zara Vex could not return to the Empire in defeat. "All vessels, target the main human ship," she ordered. "Full weapons barrage." The 15 Cerealian warships fired simultaneously. Brilliant beams of energy cut across space toward the Redemption. Under such an assault, any other species' ships would have been vaporized instantly. The human vessel did not move. It did not fire back. It simply absorbed the attack. The energy weapons seemed to fade as they struck the strange geometric patterns on the hull. Again, Zaravex shouted, "All weapons!" A second barrage hit the Redemption with the same result. Then the human ships began to move. They flew in patterns that made no sense to Xerelian tactical computers. Their formations shifted constantly, never presenting the same target twice. They moved as if they were a single mind controlling hundreds of bodies. "Admiral," the weapons officer called out, panic in his voice. "Our targeting systems cannot lock onto their vessels." "Keep firing," she ordered. "They cannot avoid every." She stopped mid-sentence as her ship shuddered. Not from an impact, but something else. The lights on the bridge dimmed, then came back on. "What was that?" she demanded. "Our weapons are offline," reported the tactical officer. "And our engines. We've been disabled." Around her flagship, the rest of her battle group drifted helplessly. Not a single shot had hit the human vessels. Captain Hayes opened a channel again. Her expression remained calm, almost kind. "Your weapons and engines are temporarily disabled, Admiral," she said. "They'll reactivate once you're back in your territory." "You're letting us go?" Zaravex asked, genuinely confused. "Why?" "Because that's what humans do," Hayes replied. "We don't destroy when we can disable. We don't kill when we can communicate. And we don't mock other species' ships. We study them and learn from them." Zaravex stood silent for a moment. "I have never been defeated in battle." "This wasn't a battle," Hayes said. "It was an introduction. Next time, let's meet as equals rather than adversaries." The transmission ended. The human ships began to return to the Redemption, flowing back into the massive vessel like water. Soon, only the strange warship remained. As Zaravex watched, the Redemption slowly turned and moved away, its engines barely visible, nothing like the loud, bright exhausts of Xerelian ships. It moved with a grace that seemed impossible for something so large. Over the next day, as their systems gradually came back online, Zaravex ordered her crew to record everything they could about what had happened. She studied the patterns of the human ships, the strange design of the Redemption, the technology that had so easily defeated her battle group. "Admiral," Officer Drex approached carefully. "The High Council will expect an explanation." Zaravex nodded. "They will get one. Prepare all data for transmission." Will you tell them everything?" "Yes," she said firmly. "Everything. The Empire must understand what we face." As her fleet limped home, Zaravex spent hours watching recordings of the encounter. The human ships had moved with precision that suggested centuries of tactical evolution. Their technology incorporated elements from multiple species, improved upon, and integrated seamlessly. When she finally returned to Xerelian space, the High Council awaited her report with angry faces. "The mighty Zaravex returns in defeat," sneered Councillor Vrax. "What excuse do you offer?" She stood tall before them. No excuse, only truth. The galaxy has changed. She showed them the recordings, explained what she had learned about human technology and tactics. "They could have destroyed us," she concluded. "Every ship, every crew member. Instead, they chose to let us go." "Weakness," said one counselor dismissively. "No," Zaravex replied. "Strength. They were so confident in their power that they did not need to prove it through destruction." She looked at each council member in turn. "For 600 years, I have mocked every ship I've encountered. But now I have seen a vessel, a human vessel, that deserves our respect." Councillor Mira leaned forward. "What do you suggest we do?" "What the humans offered," Zaravex replied. "Meet them as equals, not adversaries. Because the alternative," she paused, "the alternative would be the end of our empire."